Alright, we are cruising today on Highway 197, Pensacola Road near Burnsville. This is a new bridge here going over the Cane River and connecting over there to Tootie's Creek Road. That is the Concord Baptist Church up there. It is kind of been a rainy day today, but we'll see how the weather holds up. My plan is to get as far as I can on Highway 197, go through Pensacola. It's been a few months since I've investigated that area. Lots of new gravel and asphalt and riverbank reinforcements done through here. I bought a drone recently off of Amazon. I think it was about $110 exactly, but before I could really get any quality footage with it, I crashed it into a river. But I'll share just a little bit of my drone experiments and failures with you. I'll play you my first crash here with it and give you some slow motion on that. I had hit a button that is supposed to make it land where it took off from, but I think I was just too close to the trees for it to work, so it crashed itself right into these trees. Oh, got some good 360 flips going on. As soon as I started flying the drone, I thought to myself, wow, this is something I really need to get into. I wish I had gotten into it sooner. It's hard to believe that I can own this level of technology for just $110. It actually survived that crash that I showed pretty much unscathed, and then it survived more crashes after that, but then just being submersed in the river water is what finally killed it. While the Navfire N11 Pro GPS drone is really amazing for the money, I think it's my fault that I crashed it. I'm particularly bad at drone flying, but you can see that the camera stabilization is really just not as good a quality as GoPro. So if I get another drone, I will get one with better quality and try to get some actually good shots, but I figured I would share those with you anyway. Now going back across the Cane River, and we will continue in sort of the south direction on Highway 197. Coming up here on the right, we have some heavy machinery working to clean debris out of the river and reinforce the banks. There's been lots and lots of that kind of work going on all around western North Carolina and Tennessee. Several miles worth of the pavement that we'll be riding over today is completely new since Hurricane Helene. This is one of the worst affected areas. Almost every residence that we will pass on this road is uninhabitable still. While we do have lots of new greenery and spring blossoms out right now, it's still just astounding to see how much of this is still covered up with mud. And there would be a lot more green pastures if there wasn't all this mud here. That small river on the right reached all the way up into the tree line on the right and then over to the left, enough to ruin these sections of asphalt through here. These mud piles on the right are a good indicator of how much was scraped up from the road. It actually ruined that small section of asphalt that was just covering the rest of this through here. It reminds me of how it would look if we probably got a 2 or 3 foot snow and then plowed it up. I think your piles of snow would be about this size. This on the right would typically be a luscious green pasture, but I saw that sign said it's a SDR temporary dump site, public access not allowed. Turning right would continue on Highway 197, but we will go straight here for a couple of miles up Ewart Wilson Road. On the left, we can see that some new emergency relief housing has been installed. So many people on this road have just lost everything. I know that it's very welcomed. I recognize that truck and equipment and work trailer there. It said God's Pit Crew Emergency Response Team on it. I had noticed that truck headed up when I've been going down in the south direction on Interstate 26. Early in the morning, I've seen that truck coming up towards Burnsville on their way to work. So they're still here 7 months later. Amazing. There's the Pensacola Fire Department on my left. Served as a great hub for relief supplies in the months immediately after Helene. You can tell that we are just right in the middle of spring with everything blooming and budding. That's the Pensacola Methodist Church there on the right. That's Cattail Creek Road on the left. I rode down there a couple of months ago and it was really bad destruction. If the weather holds up, we'll probably go down that road later on today. But yeah, it's neat to observe through here how in the lower elevations it's turning green and blooming, but then as you look up to the higher elevations, those trees up there haven't begun to bud yet. I guess the high elevation trees are last to get their green, and then first to get their oranges and reds and stuff in the fall. We are getting close to the end of Ewart Wilson Road here. This is where the Cane River starts pretty much. It's much smaller in this area than down where we started. We will go back down and turn left on Highway 197, Pensacola Road. This here on the left was a paved road, and you can see the remnants of that bridge there. This was either Bear Path Trail or South Face Lane. I can't remember which. But yeah, just absolutely unrecognizable through here. So we see how massive the river got. Looking absolutely crystal clear today. I noticed it looked much muddier down on the Cane River further where we started, but wow, it looks beautiful today. You will notice that in the mountains whenever you're in an area like that where it's just the river bottom is just rocks. It's going to be so beautiful and clean like that. Now turning off of Ewart Wilson Road back onto Highway 197, Pensacola Road. And now crossing back over the Cane River. Wow, you can really see well from here the riverbank reinforcement. We are now back on Highway 197. You can see how the asphalt through here was just totally demolished by that little creek on the left. If we were to continue on this road to the end of it, we would end up in Barnardsville, North Carolina. And as we go along here, we'll be riding through and close to spots of national forest several times. Beautiful car here on the right. Well done paint job. It's hard to say for sure, but it looks like that car was probably fully restored and driving well before it got flooded. Highway 197 crest up at the Big Butt Trailhead. I believe that this part has always been gravel. We're close to the Flat Spring Knob, Coxcomb Knob, Ivy Knob, and High Knob, all part of the Pisgah National Forest. While a lot of the roads around here are gravel just since Hurricane Helene, yeah, this one's always been gravel, but a lot of work has been done to it. I see a lot of new gravel here and mountainside reinforcement work done. When I had encountered some rain when I first left on my ride today, I had thought about canceling and just going back home for the day, but I'm so glad I didn't. There is just nothing that smells better than being out in nature after a good rainstorm. I mean, the air out here smells so fresh. It is absolutely rejuvenating. I decided to turn around before we got all the way to Barnardsville because it seems like there's going to be a heavy torrential rainpour soon. And also, a lot of these gravel sizes are pretty big and they have not been, compacted and smashed into the ground yet. So it's a pretty bumpy ride on a motorcycle. But yeah, let's head back toward Pensacola and see if we can escape this rain. We are right by a community called the Hawk's Nest. See that sign there? But yeah, from here you can see like 5 or 6 switchbacks just straight down through there. Pretty cool view. This is near the crest, near Big Butt Trailhead. We've only been back on the asphalt for a couple of minutes. I am going to take it really easy. I saw several splotches of oil spilled on the way up here. So I know with the rain and the oil mix, that would like to set my bike down, but hopefully we won't let that happen today. We are crossing back over the Cane River now, getting close to that big debris pile, and where 197 will be on the left, there's some debris being dumped now. Here is the emergency relief housing that's been put up by God's Pit crew there. We are getting close to Cattail Creek Road, which we haven't been up in a while, so we'll take a right at the Methodist Church here and check out Cattail Creek Road. We've been riding up Cattail Creek Road for about 5 miles now. You can see that old culvert crumpled up on the ground and the new culvert installed underneath the road there. We are now going to turn on Deep Gap Road. So yeah, just a couple of residences looked even barely habitable out of the 5 or 6 miles we've ridden. You can see coming up this little cabin with all the nice flowering bushes. See how that landslide just went right up against the back of the cabin. It's an interesting feeling to see the destruction of Hurricane Helene right next to the beautiful spring flowers all around. We have seen hundreds of destroyed homes today, but also thousands of spring flowers. The capacity and ability of both the people and the earth around here to heal is truly remarkable, although a whole lot of these new spring plants are just covering up old scars that we will definitely see again in the wintertime. This is a very adorable little cabin. I've always liked that style of building with the logs and the chinking in between, and it's a very strong and warm way to make a building. It also has a metal roof, and all of those beautiful flowering bushes have been planted many years ago to where they get that big and are that beautiful now. Wonder how many years that place has been enjoyed up here on the mountain. Beautiful. You can see in the asphalt where that tiny little trickle of a creek just busted right through the asphalt here. Up on the right is really such a neat little perch up there to have a house. They lost most of their yard there with erosion, but it's still up there. This is basically where the Cane River starts. Right here, it's neat to see how big it is here compared with the biggest spots that we've passed down there. Just many different little tributaries going into it until it gets to be a pretty epic river. And then a very epic, destructive river back 7 months ago. Ahead on the left, that is the Pensacola United Methodist Church, and then straight ahead, sort of a little to the right, is the Laurel Branch Church. We are definitely in the Bible Belt here in Pensacola, North Carolina. Now turning off of Cattail Creek Road back onto Highway 197. Now turning onto the aptly named Riverview Road, you can see that the people that lived on the other side of that bridge had no access to the outside world for a while. You can see where that bridge looks to be well built and has drainage pipes built into the side of it. You can see where the river kind of split into two there on the left, and then here on the right, and it kind of left a high point there in the middle where that piece is still left. Wow. So yeah, all of this here is new. I'm sure the people that rely on that bridge to get to the outside world are very happy. But sadly, it looks like this white house here, I mean, it looks a lot better than many other houses around, but you can see they've had to rip out all of the HVAC stuff, and it will probably be a while before it's habitable again. we're several miles away from Burnsville, this water is looking very clean. The riverbanks and river bottoms seem to be more rocky here than they are closer to Burnsville, like it was back up Cattail Creek Road. Just lots of rocks in those higher elevation areas. I took this side road off of 197. I think this is called Paradise Lane. I don't quite remember. You can see just ahead where the pavement broke off, so this is all new gravel through here. But yeah, it looked like it was dead ending at someone's house, so I just turned around. But wow, what a view through here. We are turning around on Ferguson Hill Road here to get back to Highway 197. If we were to keep going the other direction on this road, we would end up on Highway 1923 in Burnsville. I just decided to come up this road because as we were passing on 197, I looked to my left and saw this tire that says the Big Dog Mudsling. So I don't know, I guess an off-road little park or something. Not sure exactly what that is, but I just decided to come up here and check it out. Now going to turn back onto Highway 197. We'll take a right here on Bolan's Creek and explore up that. Haven't been up this road in a while. I went last year. There's a road called Watershed Road that connects to this Bolan's Creek Road. And then there's a trailhead off of Watershed Road that can connect you to the Black Mountain Crest Trail and the CeeLo Knob. And yeah, I hiked from pretty much here to Mount Mitchell. Really good hike. Something like a 13-miler if I remember correctly. Maybe more than 13, but at least 13 miles. Beautiful lush greenery coming in here. You can see this house on the left was ruined by the creek, as well as all of this asphalt we're riding on is brand new, all torn up by that little trickle of a creek over on our right. We'll pull into the Bolan's Creek Baptist Church on the left here for a minute. It's like their bridge was totally washed out. This is a new culvert and bridge that we'll ride over here. Looks like a scripture painted on a rock. We'll stop and read that on the way out. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5-6. I wonder if they're looking for something that got washed away from their home. Well, we're gonna head back up Bolan's Creek Road and go back around to Highway 197 and then back home to Burnsville. Thank you so much for watching. It's really been a big encouragement to me to have so many people interested in seeing the recovery of Western North Carolina. God bless and peace be with you.